Tom Pidcock, an Ineos Grenadier, Olympic champion and overall animal on the bike, at only 22 years old as well. And then Lionel Sanders, an Uber biker in the triathlon world and someone who literally has no limit. One would assume Lionel is a far superior triathlete to Pidcock, considering it's his profession. However, is this really the case? As some of the numbers Tom has hit off the bike are just as impressive as the ones he's hit on it. It's truly mind-boggling. Now, Pidcock on the bike has an FTP estimated at around 6.6 watts per kilo, which is just insane and absolutely world class and right up there with the best in the world, if not one of the best itself. I think I've said enough from the bike side of things, as this just epitomises his class. But things get super juicy when you look at his run pedigree and quite frankly the world class times he's hit. Back in 2021, during COVID, he gave a 5k max effort run a shot and completed it in 13 minutes and 25 seconds. Now let me just repeat that again, 13 minutes and 25 seconds. This is just ridiculous, and it was posted and recorded on Strava for everybody to see. I guess you could be skeptical of this and question the time and its legitimacy, but he's agreed at some point to go down to Oregon and run a 5k down the track with Nike, so clearly he's not just wildly making this up, and even if it wasn't 100% accurate, it's unlikely to be minutes off, which would still make it an absolutely phenomenal time. Realistically, I think it's perfectly fair to assume it would be sub 15 minutes, which again would put him right up there with some of the best triathletes in the world. For example, Joe Skipper, ranked 6th in the world, also attempted a 5k at a similar time to Pidcock and couldn't even go sub 15 minutes, which is a minute and a half what he achieved. So I think this truly shows how wildly insane that time actually is. You would also expect that with some structured run training this would drastically improve, almost certainly taking him to world-class run form on the triathlon scene. Now if you compare this to Lionel Sanders from both a run and bike perspective, it seems Pidcock has the advantage. Last year Sanders also did a 5k, this seems to be a common occurrence among pro athletes, and finished in 14 minutes 34 seconds, so a minute slower than Pidcock's recording. I think it would be absolutely reasonable to presume both are at least the same fitness level when it comes down to running, if not with Pidcock taking the edge. And as I was saying previously, with a little bit of training under his belt, I definitely think he'd have the advantage over Lionel. So from a bike and run combination, I see Tom taking him to the cleaners. Although Sanders' FTP is still 5.7 watts per kilo and ridiculously high. Now, just being left with the swim, the shortest discipline, which isn't one of Lionel's strengths, on a 1v1 level, this would pose very little benefit in terms of time difference. Even if Sanders got a lead, I can see this being very short-lived with Pidcock coming through on the bike. I cannot find any swim times for Tom, but unless he swims like an absolute drowning bird, which is quite possible, I think a Lionel Sanders versus Tom Pidcock would be a perfectly fair battle. And to be honest, I think it would be really cool to see. Personally, the shorter distance, in my opinion, would be more suited to Tom, as obviously he's not going to be as conditioned on the run and have the consistency Lionel does for those longer distances. Although, if trained, I'd love to see a Sanders versus Pidcock at an Ironman or 70.3. I think this would be absolutely wild. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you've got any questions, drop them down below. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.